What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 9 of season 3 of Jujutsu Kaisen. We'll be talking full spoilers ahead, so hopefully you've had a chance to watch this episode. We'll do a real quick recap. Finally, we got a pretty straightforward episode. Yuji goes on trial with Higuruma, I think his name is. First trial is it's his domain expansion. Basically, there's no combat there. You just go on trial. He's got the judge. I forgot what they're called. Judge something? Judge man?
Whatever his curse is called.
Something like that. But basically, goes on trial. The first trial is Yuji entering a pachinko place when he was a kid. He can either admit guilt, deny it, or what was the third one? Silence. He basically makes up a lie saying that he did enter the place, but he didn't enter to gamble. He went there to use the bathroom. Basically gets caught in that lie. They fight for a while in a really greatly animated fight scene where we see Higuruma's using his hammer gavel basically as like a Wukong staff. The thing stretches all over the place, teleports around.
Slash Thor's hammer.
He's able to throw it rapid fire like a machine gun. Pretty crazy stuff. Then Yuji, when he was in a really bad situation, also worth mentioning too, his judgment was, I forgot what, confiscation, I think it was something like that. But it basically took his curse power away, but didn't really affect too much for him because he's got great physical power. He does his best to try to fight him off, but in the last moments of him, being in a bad place, he asked for a retrial. Apparently, he can have like 2 retrials. In that retrial, he is accused of mass murder at the Shibuya incident. Instantly admits guilt. They go back at it at a point where Higuruma is about to strike Yuji. He pulls back from his weapon, and which is a sword that if it even cuts you at all, you die, which is pretty brutal. Yuji hits him. He goes flying. Basically, Higuruma had an issue with him admitting guilt to something that he didn't do. As the evidence shows, it was Sukuna that did it, took over his body, all that stuff. And of course, Yuji still feels guilt for even participating in that. Higuruma agrees to give his points over, also makes a rule that any players can exchange.
That's the reason he gave the points, to be able to allow players to exchange points. Yeah,
so, and then he kept 2 points, right?
One from the 2 people he killed, he felt guilt for.
Yeah. And then, they go their separate ways. Higuruma's basically planning on, he said once he leaves the barrier, basically turning himself in for the people that he killed. I think it's all the major beats of the episode.
Yep.
Thoughts?
No, it was a really good episode.
Probably one of my favorites of the season.
Yeah, outside of the Maki one, that one was pretty dope.
Oh yeah, that was great.
No, the reason I like this one so much is because it wasn't just like a fight scene. It was, we've kind of seen this guy's character like go from being, all about the law and doing everything like you're supposed to do, to seeing that system just fail him over and over again, to saying, screw it, I'm going to take the law in my own hands. And then through his confrontation with Yuji, kind of like regaining his humanity, which was really cool to see.
That's like in our last review, I was saying that he basically saw a corrupt system. So we got... we build an opinion on him of somebody who is worried about what's just and right or whatever. So it is interesting how this all unfolded.
Yeah, and then it was also interesting when they were explaining the domain expansion. All modern sorcerers were used to the idea of like a domain expansion is like instant hit, instant kill, right? And then they explain why that is in this episode. Is because the training and the focus has just been for years and years at this point on the instant kill part that has made domain expansions basically OP versus like all these people who don't have that training. The old way a domain expansion used to function was more on the instant hit part, but not the kill part. And so like his domain being a courtroom that you can't escape, but you could live through it, right? Type of thing, which was interesting to see the difference, because obviously like we've seen so many domain expansions at this point, and it's just like the only way out is to kill them fast enough or have a domain expansion stronger than theirs to collapse theirs. Or you're oh God, what's his name again? Dude who just punched his way through the water one, and that I can't remember his name right now. It's who Maki basically is at this point.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So it was neat to see that kind of play out, and then the ability of confiscation, which is funny because, yeah, Yuji's a meathead basically, and all his cursed power does is just make his punches stronger and his defense stronger. That's it. So, watching them fight was dope. The choreography was just like super fun to watch, just because the imagination of things that honestly, like we brought up examples of what his weapon is. Like they're not necessarily unique, but the way they handled the choreography of the fight was just a blast. So they did a really good job with that.
Yeah, the fight was awesome. Although very annoying to have to read and watch at the same time.
Hard. Yeah.
Took me back to Metal Gear Solid 4 when you're fighting off the Metal Gears, but also trying to watch on the other side what's happening.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a dope sequence. And then, Yuji scrambling. He's like, legal stuff. You get retrials in real life. I'm going to try it. And then it turned out to be true. So, yeah. And then the idea that if that domain, gives sentences, is what I'm looking for, an execution, he just gets a sword that it just has to touch the person, which is ridiculous. Kind of plays into that instant kill part of a domain expansion, though, which is an interesting way to do it.
But it also is interesting because you get a fair trial, basically. So
yeah. And then him basically realizing that Yuji's not a piece of shit, and having a little more faith in people or whatever, and remembering who he is, which is a defense lawyer, and he just watched an innocent guy admit guilt, and he didn't like that. So made him feel human again. Did exactly what Yuji and Megumi came to do, and left after being offered to help out. He basically said being around Yuji would just make him feel worse, and that wasn't a slight at Yuji. He just does not feel good about what he's done up to this point, so he's gonna go turn himself in. So yeah, it was a really good episode. A lot of info for what basically was a court case and a battle. So
yeah, when this episode started and they're doing the whole court thing, I actually was enjoying that, regardless of whether we're going to get a fight scene or not.
Right.
I thought it was fun the way they played with the first trial of it just being basically about something so simple as I don't know how serious that is in Japan, but I can't imagine it's that serious. But being underage and going into a pachinko place seemed like a pretty brutal punishment, though, to just have him attack the hell out of him, though, after that. But it was fun to kind of see him, Yuji, kind of play through his head. When was that? What did I do? Oh, right. I should just say this. And he's trying to figure out how to get through it. And we get a side of Yuji that, on a more innocent thing, he's trying to get out of it. But then, and even those episodes, about Higuruma, the episode also really highlights Yuji as a character, because for something that simple, he's playing around with it. But for the whole Shibuya thing, he instantly, because we already know he feels guilty about that, but he instantly admits guilt. He doesn't try to think of a way to get out of it.
It's also kind of funny too, because in the same season, they emphasize that Yuji's a terrible liar, and then of course the person he runs into, you either tell the truth or you lie, and he can't lie. So
he's not good at lying. But it just is another highlight of Yuji as a character when, he's confronted with that, something he's actually not responsible for, but feels responsible for. He just admits the guilt, no matter, what the punishment is going to be, which of course was going to be, execution. But then, interesting enough, with Higuruma, knowing that he wasn't responsible and not willing to exact that punishment on him, but Yuji was, willing to take it. Really highlights both of the characters in a way that I thought was really good. I also hope we do see Higuruma again later, but if we don't, it makes sense for his character. But I actually thought he was a pretty cool character. He kind of reminds me of an Arc System Works character from Guilty Gear or something.
Oh, a little bit. Yeah.
There's just something about him that's kind of normal, but also kind of creepy, the way his eyes are and stuff, and the way he talks.
It also kind of helps that he's really proficient in melee combat. So
he just throw him in fucking the next Guilty Gear.
Fine, yeah.
Just make him a little edgier looking, and he'll fit in perfectly. But yeah, every time, like, especially during the fight, I'm like, he just reminds me of like a Guilty Gear character for some reason. The fight was awesome. It was really well done. The moves were super creative. The way he's switching the gavel to different hands and stretching it out and whipping it around when he's
Even using
far
it to
away.
move around.
Yeah.
So
And then he's throwing it like a machine gun. I was like, this guy's pretty gnarly. Like, I assumed he'd be strong anyway, but like, I didn't realize he'd be that creative with his abilities. So,
yeah, one of the things during the fight too, they were mentioning that was hard to catch, but they were basically talking about how he was, he's been a sorcerer and he had taken out cursed spirits before and stuff like that. So he had experience.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed like it.
Yeah.
So, what else to talk about on this episode? The second trial was cool, but it was brief, obviously. The ending also just kind of re-solidifies Higuruma's as like his character of like, feeling his guilt and willing to turn himself in, which, we got a taste of that in the last episode of how he viewed the law. So I like the consistency of his character. Definitely, I don't know what you would call that in D&D, but like, lawful, whatever the hell. He seems like somebody who's willing to follow the rules to a fault.
It depends on what part we're talking about. It could be lawful good or, neutral. I
Just kind of had like a kind of a paladin vibe to him,
Yeah.
except for without the religious stuff or whatever. But yeah, cool character, cool episode. I like the trial stuff. I like the fight scene. It was nice to see a well done fight scene. Not that I only watch the show for that, but when we get them, they're fucking awesome. So of course I want them.
It's a treat.
And the last time we got one was him beating up some propeller people, which was funny, but not as satisfying as this. But yeah, good episode. Really looking forward to the next one. And I realized that we are on episode 9, which means we're getting close to the end, which is kind of crazy because this season has been like a lot of like rules and talking and exposition. But
the first half,
the ball is rolling now and it feels good. So, and like I said with the last season, because the first season I remember watching through and I was like, it's fine, whatever. Watch second season and I was like, oh, the first season's like better now because of the writing making the first season just come together better. And this season's kind of doing the same thing with this season. Like it's kind of slow, but then things are happening and it kind of makes everything make more sense. So I'm enjoying it and can't wait for the next episode.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Let us know in the comments what you guys think about this episode. Favorite parts, least favorite parts, if you have any. Maybe something that happened in the episode that we missed that you want to talk about. Let us know in the comments. And where you think things are going, unless you know, please don't tell us because we haven't read the manga and we want to go in as blind as possible. And we've been doing great on that so far, except for you got a spoiler. What did you get spoiled for you?
It was that when he was running, like holding the hammer, swinging it.
Okay.
I watched the animator had posted it on X, and
Gotcha.
I saw the early version of it basically, and I was like, oh, he's gonna fight next episode.
So there's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
I expected it anyway,
Yeah.
but I didn't expect it to be this good.
Yeah.
And yeah, let us know what you think about in the comments below when it comes to this episode. And stay tuned. We'll be finishing out this season doing episodic reviews. We're doing episodic reviews of Free Run. We're going to go watch that right now and do our review of that. And then we do still plan on watching Trigun and Hell's Paradise. Whether we get that done this season or next season, we'll try to do it when we got time.
So the good news is apparently Hell's Paradise is pretty good. So
yeah, I've been hearing some stuff about it, which I'm like, I didn't really hear a whole lot about the first season.
True.
So if I'm hearing stuff about the second season, then there's something worth talking about, and that's good. So, but we do plan on watching those, but we will, of course, take recommendations as well. If you have any movies, TV, anime that you'd like us to watch, review, we'll look into it, but we can't guarantee we can watch it. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I've been Seth, this has been Chevy, and we will talk to you guys later.